Today's video takes place at the Holy Cross Cemetery in Brook Park, Ohio, near Cleveland, where my uncle, aunt, and cousin are buried. Holy Cross is a very peaceful cemetery. This Sacred Heart of Jesus statue is one of many beautiful statues one can see at this cemetery. Just to show how peaceful this cemetery is, I captured this picture of these deer just a few feet away from my family members' graves when I visited in August of 2022. I was just 13 years old and living in Rockledge, Florida, when my Uncle Bob, who was a cab driver with the Southwest Cab Company in North Royalton, Ohio, was murdered on April 24, 1974. He had only worked with this company for 3 weeks at the time of his murder. He had switched jobs thinking it would be safer after surviving 3 armed robberies while working with the Yellow Cab Company in Cleveland. He was beaten by 2 men in Parma Heights, Ohio, and his body was propped against a tree near a tennis court in Strongsville, Ohio. Due to living in Florida, I did not get to attend my uncle's funeral mass, did not visit his grave, and had never seen this newspaper article until 48 years later. In May 2022, my grandson Jake, our friend Dustin, and I visited Holy Cross Cemetery and eventually located my family members' graves. This is one of my cars, the Silver Bullet 2, parked in the rain while we searched for the graves. This is Dustin and Jake looking for the graves. We eventually found it. This is me kneeling in a light rain by the shared marker marking the graves of my deceased family members. Despite the rain, we attempted to make contact with my Uncle Bob, Aunt Betty, and cousin Jeffrey with the K2 meter. This is a picture of me holding the K2 meter as it was registering a 3 out of 5. I do not recall the question it was responding to. This is Jake holding the K2 meter as it registered a 3 out of 5. I had just said, "This is my grandson Jake," when it lit up. Shortly after taking this photograph, we placed the K2 meter on the grave marker and it lit up again. Unfortunately, we didn't capture it in the following video clips.
Uncle Bob and Aunt Betty and Jeffrey, it's me, Joey. You remember me? Can you light the meter up again like you did? Just touch it. Can you make the lights come on that meter, please?
My name is Dustin. I'm Joe's friend. You don't have to be afraid of me. Can you light up the device for us again?
In August 2022, I returned to the cemetery and had a few brief interactions with my uncle, aunt, and cousin with the K2 meter. As can be seen with the following video clip, I didn't get any reactions until right before I turned the recorder off. Watch carefully and you'll see the meter flicker at the very end.
Uncle Bob, Aunt Betty, cousin Jeffrey, are you here? Can you touch this meter I placed on your headstone? It'll make it light up. Touch it and let it light up a couple lights and let me know you understand.
Upon attempting to review the video clip at the cemetery over my relatively small iPhone, I thought I saw the K2 meter flicker at the end, so I started the recorder back up, and it would appear that I made contact with my cousin Jeffrey, who died in April 1975. He was only 19 years old.
Okay, when I played it back, I think I saw it flicker right at the end. Can you touch it again and confirm that you made it flicker? Can you confirm that that was you? Was it you, Jeffrey? Thank you. Thank you, Jeffrey. I'm sorry that you passed away. I'm sorry.
Jeffrey had been having an affair with a Cleveland police officer's wife named Clara, who was much older than he. Jeffrey and Clara had visited us in Florida and stayed for a week. I was 14 years old when we learned that my cousin had died, just 4 days shy of the 1-year anniversary of my Uncle Bob's murder. In June 2022, I requested and received a copy of the police report on Jeffrey's death, which was handled as a missing person report on April 20th, 1975. The police report was drastically different from what my aunt had told us at the time and I had believed for so many years. Aunt Betty had told us that Jeffrey and Clara, for unknown reasons, had been out on Lake Erie in a small boat, and during an argument, Jeffrey jumped out of the boat and drowned. Aunt Betty suspected that Clara had pushed him out of the boat, or that her police officer husband had murdered him. My cousin's body was found in a field behind St. Joseph's School on May 1st, 1975, and was positively identified by dental records and a ring the corpse was wearing, which Clara identified as having been purchased by my cousin during a trip they had taken to Mexico. According to the police report, Clara stated that on April 20th, she and Jeffrey had been drinking at the Pirates Cove nightclub and had left at approximately 2 a.m. This is a photograph which I found on the internet of the Pirates Cove nightclub located in the Cleveland Flats on Old River Road. After leaving the nightclub, Clara and Jeffrey drove to Front Street and Old River Road by the Penn Central drawbridge and parked. This is a photograph of the Penn Central drawbridge, which I also found on the internet. According to Clara, while parked near the drawbridge, they got into a lover's argument, and Jeffrey then got out of the vehicle and jumped into the river and began swimming as she hollered for him to come back. She then went back to the nightclub, and when no one was there, went to my aunt's house, and my Aunt Betty notified the police. According to the police report, prior to his body being found and positively identified, my Aunt Betty and cousins Patrick and David visited the police station with an envelope they had received in the U.S. mail containing various papers and documents belonging to Jeffrey that had been in his wallet, including his driver's license, Social Security card, Selective Service card, United Airlines card, and a business card for an attorney. Since these items did not appear to have been wet, it had given them false hope that he was still alive and not presumed drowned. They had hoped that he may have gone to California to see an old girlfriend, or to Florida, where he had visited my family with Clara and had liked the climate. During my visit to the gravesite in August of 2022, I was unable to get Jeffrey to react with the K2 meter to anything involving his death. He didn't respond when I asked if he took responsibility for his death, if he had committed suicide, if he had been drinking too much on the night in question and simply drowned, or if there had been any foul play associated with his death, if he had been murdered by Clara's police officer husband, for instance, or if Clara had pushed him into the water, etc. Things my grieving Aunt Betty had suspected. I was almost ready to give up with the K2 meter session until Jeffrey finally responded when I asked him about his visit to our house in Florida with Clara and how she had made lasagna for us. Watch him respond in the following video clip.
Do you remember visiting us in Florida with Clara? I remember Clara made us lasagna. I had never had lasagna before. That was the first time I ever had lasagna. You like lasagna?
In addition to my contacts with my cousin Jeffrey through the K2 meter, I was also able to have a couple extremely brief interactions with my Uncle Bob and Aunt Betty when I visited in August of 2022, as can be seen in the following clips.
Uncle Bob, are you there? Can you flicker the meter if you're there? I felt so bad when I heard that you were murdered. I never got to say goodbye to you. You're one of my favorite uncles. Was that you that flickered the meter a few minutes ago or a few seconds ago? Is that you, Jeffrey? Or was that you, Aunt Betty? Flicker the light if it was Aunt Betty. Okay, hi Aunt Betty, how you doing? Remember me? I'm Joey.
It was raining when Jake, Dustin, and I first visited the Holy Cross Cemetery, and I had just finished working a long shift the second time I visited. I'm definitely going to have to go back sometime, hopefully in the near future. And hopefully I'll be able to interact more with my Uncle Bob and Aunt Betty and get my cousin Jeffrey to open up more about the circumstances surrounding his death. In the meanwhile, this is Ghost Hunter Joe saying so long and happy hunting.